So, do you need a sense of direction? I'm assuming you clicked on this video because you're at a point. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you're like, I don't know where to go in terms of financial wise, relationship wise, purpose wise. Could be any reason, right? And today, it's a beautiful day here in Houston, Texas. It's like 8 or 9 in the morning or something. I'm going for a walk, and I figured to record this because for me, my life, this was a big point. And the way I come up with ideas, by the way, of the videos I make is just points that I've walked through in my life, things that have come up in my life, and from having talked to thousands of people and really understanding everyone. And I mean, I'm in the business of helping people and understanding them and all that. You realize like how similar we all are. And so, and when any time I share something that I have walked through, a bunch of people message me of like, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed. This is what I needed to hear, and so forth. So yeah, and definitely leave feedback in the comments as well, so that I know who's benefiting from it and whatnot, because it does help me come up with better ideas of what videos to make to support everyone here. But in terms of the sense of direction, there's really, I mean, I've made several videos talking about this one point, and it's one that wealthy people don't emphasize on it because they know that that's literally the main way to become successful. You could have all the right books, have all the right audios, courses, and so forth, and if you're missing this one thing, none of that will work. And they don't say it, right? Maybe they're not even aware of it. Maybe they naturally do it, right? Like this stuff that I share, some people have learned it and consciously have applied it and are getting results. But then the people who quote unquote don't consciously know this stuff but get the results, they're virtually all doing this. It's just they're doing it knowingly or at an instinctual level, right? But matter of fact is everyone's doing this, right? So might as well learn it, do it. And the hardest part of becoming successful, making more money, whatever the case might be, having more impact, the hardest part is the fear of taking action and the fear of what might go wrong. And that majority comes from the school system we went to. So now I'll tell you this one main key thing that has influenced my life a lot, and anyone who I know. And by far, like, I've talked to people who have listened to audios for tens of years and all that stuff, but when they got this thing, everything shifted fast. And when I say it, don't click off because you're like, oh, I've heard it before and blah 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 blah. And before I share, for those who are like, who when they hear something that they've quote unquote heard before, they're like, okay, next video, and you'll always stay broke. Let me tell you a story. There's a guy, well, I was in that same boat of, I had listened to all these audios. I felt like I knew all, right? I knew everything, even though my bank account was empty and I was living with my mom and virtually I was broke, right? No girlfriend, nothing. And I thought I knew it all, right? Like when I would hear it, I'm like, ah, here we go again. I've heard this 50 times, even though I wasn't applying any of it, right? And so there was a story I heard of this guy that, you know, he was at one of these seminars and he was listening to the guy explain all this. And this was a kind of successful person. And then after the seminar, goes up to the guy and he's like, hey, everything you shared, I already knew it, right? And the guy's like, really? You knew it? He's like, yeah, I heard all this stuff. He's like, really? I couldn't tell, right? And then he told the guy, remember, to know and not to do is not to know. Doesn't matter how much you think you've known it or heard it. If you haven't applied it, you haven't really heard it before. And that will go over many people's head and then few people who get it. And really, I'm making the video for the few people who really do understand it, because they're actually the ones that are serious, that will take the action. And so I'm making it for them, not the people who just scroll, hate, do whatever, right? So this one main point is having a mentor. But many people have taken that and they think if they watch a YouTube video that the guy that's talking in the videos, that is somehow the mentor. And it's like, that's not how that works. And when I say mentor, I mean someone who has walked through everything that you're walking through, the same fears, everything, right? Or you could get mentors that have experienced what you're experiencing in even small areas, but also they have what you want, right? Because then they can share how they went from where you are to where they are, what they did, and you just do that. And another important factor is the mentor should be someone that you have access to every single day, that you could either text them, call them, or they'll call you, they'll support you. And typically the more willing you are to learn things and go actually immediately apply them, willing to let go of beliefs, you'd be surprised how many beliefs you're holding on to that's actually holding you back. And the beliefs that you're like, nope, this is my core belief, no matter what, I'm not changing that. Guess what? Those are the ones that are harming you even more than the other beliefs that you're like, this one I'm not kind of sure, right? And this was a hard truth I had to learn. But once I learned it, guess what? I've helped more people than I ever could. I've made more money than I ever thought was possible. I've purchased more cars, watches, things like that everyone wants. And I got all this stuff by age 22, right? Made over 6-7 figures in sales. Close to 7 figures, more than 500,000-600,000 at this point. I think more than 600,000 in sales. So I've learned some things, right? And obviously my goal is to make millions and then billions of dollars, but that takes time. But this point of mentorship, very key, is having access to that guy. And when you're teachable, they actually enjoy supporting you. Sometimes they reach out and follow up of like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? This, that, right? Now, where you find the mentor and all of that is a whole nother thing. But first of all, you have to sit down and write about what it is that you even want in a mentor. And not everything you write will be perfect, right? Because based on your current thinking, if you don't have the things you want, guess what? The same thinking will continue creating more of that, right? But that's not you. That's how you were designed. And how I was designed, I was creating the same stuff, even though my thoughts seemed really good and my ideas seemed really good, right? So, but start there. Write down on a piece of paper what you want in a mentor. And you can even go through your phone. One main thing is not associating with people who don't have what you want. It's very important, because if you hang out with them even once or twice, like, it's very, like, this was one of the hardest part in my process of certain family members, certain friends, things like that I had to either cut it off completely or hanging out with them very, very less, like once every 3 months, once every 6 months or something like that, right? And so what I did back then, this is when I had no clue where to start or what mentors were and all that. I went through my phone list, specifically text messages, and I asked these questions on each person. I asked myself, do they have what I want or something that I want? And have they been where I am? And if the answers to both of those questions were yes, you put a check mark next to it. We'll write down their names on a piece of paper. If the answer is no to any of them, then you put an X. And when I did this exercise back then, every single name was an X. So then I got to a point where I was like, all right, now I have 0 friends and whatnot. What do I do next? And then I was forced to, like, okay, let me find out big events. Let me find out different things I could go to. But just the thought of I want a mentor, that focus, when you think about something, then the opportunities are presented so that when you do take action and go to it, boom, you get what you want, right? But that's the part people miss. Everyone that's into law of attraction, all that, they think about it and the opportunities keep coming and they don't see it. They just go past it. They don't take any action on it. They think that no, it's actually just gonna come without them taking action. So for me, I thought about it. And then one of my cousins told me about an event that was happening in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Went to that event and I ended up finding a few mentors there that still to this day are not only mentoring me, but also now we collaborate on different ideas, have business together and so forth. And that, like, people are surprised how little I've read books, but how many mentors I've had. And I've had mentors who read all these books and knew exactly what I needed, because back then I couldn't read anyway, right? 2/3 of people can't even read effectively, can't even read the back of a prescription. So if someone's telling you go read, and you're trying to read but you're not comprehending, that's not really reading. It's like, might as well just go do something else. Now that doesn't mean reading is not good. Reading is good, but if you could actually comprehend it to then go apply it right away. But most people don't know how to apply it. They take the thing that they read, mix it up with their own ideas, and then they go apply that, which is completely wrong. It's not how the book was intended for you to actually apply the thing. So for many, many reasons, for me, the simple hack was, once I got that mentor, I would just go to them. I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Should I do this? Should I do that? They would give me suggestions. And when I would do it, boom, all the results would come in. To me, it was like such a hack. It's like, imagine someone who has, let's say you want to do martial arts, and the person in that martial arts has the black belt. It's like, why wouldn't you just go to that person and learn? Instead, you're trying to figure it out. You listen to white belt people, yellow belt people, and you're wondering why you're not getting to that black level. Because it's like, at that black level belt, the thinking is completely different. The way they take action is completely different. It's like they take that idea of working hard and working smart to a level that you can't even fathom right now. And back then I was like, okay, even the mentor, if they are making, I don't know, like even $3,000 a month, I'm not even making that. So let me find someone that's still doing that, because maybe they could teach me how to create a resume, get a job, and at least I get that. If someone's making 5,000, 10,000, same thing. But I obviously eventually found mentors that had done 20 million plus in their early 20s and whatnot before their 30th birthday. And I don't know many people who've made 20 million in their 20s. So I was like, all right, that's one of the people I want to learn from. And another mentor, he had the ability to process information very quickly, but he wasn't necessarily like that always. So then I talked to him, got his support. He introduced me to certain tools he was using, certain things, did that, boom, got that result. So it's just like, again, a hack. So, and if you don't even know where to start, you can always reach out to me. At this level of YouTube-wise, I don't have many subscribers. So if you reach out, the chance of me seeing your message is pretty high. Now I already have businesses, things like that going, so I'm getting messages from all of that. But I always try to respond to people who reach out and are like, hey, I watched your video, and then proceed to ask me a question or want to get on a call and all that. All right, I actually am making these so I find more people through this, right? Because if you're not here locally within my radius of what I could reach, then I can't support people. So this is a way, YouTube making videos, a way for me to connect with more and more people. And already several people have reached out that I'm supporting, and they're going and getting amazing results. So if you want, you could just start there. But yeah, made it long enough, so go apply at least that point of writing down the names of your 30 recent messages and ask those 2 questions. Do they have what I want, and are they where I want to be, right? Or have they been where I am? So all right, and I hope, and obviously if you do find someone that has the check mark, that they check both of those boxes, then reach out to them. Be like, hey, can you support me? I'm trying to get started. What do I do? Where do I go? Give me a sense of direction, and they'll support you, right? Because they have been where you are, so they know what the next step is. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.